Hey everyone, good morning. It is 8:30 in the morning on the 12th of November 2020. I'm going to be doing another, maybe we'll call it an episode of my Before the Bell. We've got an hour until the traditional markets open, and I'd like to take a look at this with you guys this morning, just to take a look at the S&P 500, take a look at also NASDAQ. And then we'll take a look at Bitcoin. I'll take a little look at Chainlink as well, because we were kind of talking about that on the Discord a few days ago. So I'll take a look at that and maybe a couple other altcoins that I'm kind of interested in at the moment. Before I get into any of this, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and shift into the charts. All right, so taking a look at the S&P, I've got a count here that I kind of like. Taking a look at this, potentially this being an A, B, C to complete wave 4. If that's not the case, then this, as we discussed in prior sessions, this being the A, this being the B, this being the C, to bring the 4 out here, one way or another, whether the 4 is here or the 4 is here, what we're really interested in is how we are pushing up and out of here. Because if this is the wave 4 that we are in, we came back to the 382. I won't go back and measure it. We've already taken a look at that measurement, coming back to the 382, which is where we would expect a wave 4 to pull back to. We would expect to push up and out of here. So a couple things to look at here. I'm going to move this little guy up and out of the way. Let's just take a look here from the top right here to this guy right here. What happened? Well, we pushed up and out, right? We consolidated here as I discussed. We pushed up and out. We came back and we retested that perfectly. Okay, and now we're trying to, continue to push up and out. This looks very bullish to me. So in my opinion, I think we're probably going to push up higher, and I think actually wave 5 is probably going to find its way up to about 375. Now the timing for that, that's up in the air. Probably is going to happen sometime before the end of the month. I think we'll make our way up to 375, and then we start a bit of a pullback, right? Because this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we are in here, it's really just going to be wave 1. And if in fact we do make our way up to 375, we would expect ourselves to retrace this entire move, which that could find ourselves all the way back down here to about 348 to 350. So, as time goes by, and just kind of ignore this guy for right now, he's way projected way out there. But assuming we do find ourselves doing something like this, again, we're talking about the S&P 500, wave 4, we've got 1, 2, we should see a 3, 4, 5 to find our way up there, and then we should see something like this: A, B, C. Okay, so kind of be ready for something like this to happen. Okay, and again, this goes all the way out into December. Maybe it happens in December. We typically have a little bit of a sell-off starting about the middle of December, so maybe this guy takes a little bit longer to resolve to the upside, but I still think that we're going to get a little bit of a pullback. Now, does that mean we're going to immediately go down? No, I still think we go up to about 375. Then we do a pullback. It wouldn't surprise me if we went up higher, if we went all the way up to 390. So just kind of keep that in mind, that we may find ourselves even higher. We're going to continue watching this as we always do, almost every single day. Of course, I don't usually do any updates on the weekend, but throughout the week I do several updates. So this is my idea on the S&P. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ's a little different in my opinion. I think we've actually already completed the 1, 2. We almost went all the way down to the 618 here. Again, seeing this as a 1, 2, and then completing a 1, 2, this is pretty bullish. So, looking at this, pulling ourselves from the bottom of this projected wave 4 to a 1, right? So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 5, 3, 5 on our way down. So we've got 5, 3, 5 to complete this wave 2. We went down pretty deep, but our upside target, I think I've already marked this out, is all the way up here at about 13.7. to 14,000. 13.7 to 14,000 is where that wave 3 is projected to complete. So again, if we've already completed a 1, 2, let me see if I can squeeze this down so we can see it all here. All right, so if we can squeeze this in so we can see all of this. So we've got this channel which I've kept on here, kind of going all the way back here to where we had our prior high, actually our current all-time high, all the way up there, and then our pullback right here. If you remember, the S&P was much more bullish. The S&P shot up higher, and then we consolidated right there, and then we have bounced off of that and reclaimed that as support. NASDAQ did not do that. NASDAQ looked weaker. Okay, we talked about that. NASDAQ looked weaker at the time, but money rotates. It's very common for money to rotate, so it would not surprise me one bit for this potential, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete wave 1, right? So that's wave 1 right there, and then we completed wave 2. Again, we came back down here to the 618. It worked pretty good. I'm going to remove this since we've discussed that potential for a 618 there. So now where do we expect wave 3 to go? Well, again, we use our trend-based fib extension tool. We start here at the bottom, we work our way up here to the top, and we do the pullback. Okay, so we would expect this guy to push, really much higher. Okay, so we would expect wave 3. In this case, if this is the 1, 2, we would expect wave 3 to actually move a little bit higher. This projects us potentially going all the way up to 14,350. All right, so if that's the case, then this is more than likely not a 1, 2, but just like on the S&P 500, this 4 likely would have come all the way back down here, and this is not a 1, 2. So this likely could have been an A, B, C to move ourselves down. Right now, I'm going to keep this over here. Regardless of whatever the count that I'm digging out of this is, it still supports higher prices. Much higher prices. From where we're currently at right now, our conservative target for NASDAQ, let me get this right here, approximately a 17% gain from where we're currently at right now. Our more aggressive target would be about 20% from where we're at right now. Again, we expect wave 3s to be much more aggressive than the first wave. If this is the first wave, that was pretty aggressive, if you ask me. That was a pretty significant move to the upside. S&P 500, as you know, was more aggressive. So just watching these indexes and knowing that the market, individual stocks are going to likely perform similarly. Now this is in contrast to cryptocurrency, where when Bitcoin, you can call Bitcoin, it's not an index, but you can call Bitcoin the thing that moves the market. When Bitcoin generally moves up, altcoins generally don't perform as well. Now, in a strong bull market, they do, but right now they just haven't been. So I'm going to talk about a couple of those things too. Let's take a look at Bitcoin on Bitstamp. All right, we've looked at this several times, and we'll just wait for the chart to finish up here. Obviously, we have exceeded my upside target, which was 15,400. We're sitting here at 15,900 right now. We're continuing to consolidate up here. Excuse me. I want to put an indicator on here. I'm going to put the RSI on here. And I'm also going to, not the RSI strategy. Here, let's fix that. We don't want the RSI strategy. Let's just put just the relative strength index on here. I'm interested in this. I'm also going to put the MACD on here. These two things I want to take a look at, and I'm going to take a look at them on a higher time frame because we've already done a count on these guys, but I have to pay attention. I'm actually going to remove the actual MACD lines. I want to pay attention just to the histogram on this guy. I'm going to look at both of these, the RSI and the MACD, and we can see we do have a little bit of consolidation that is occurring here on an hourly time frame. Okay, so let's just go ahead and zoom in on these guys and just take a look at this. We have some consolidation, right? So we've got this guy, and let me go ahead and fix this so that it's not going off. There we go. I just want to take a look at it at a short time frame here. We've got this right here, which was also consolidating, and I would argue that it still is. Okay, so we're going to have to see some movement in here pretty soon. All right, so I need to remove this. strategy, which is still there. Let me remove that. It's just going to take up memory. All right, so we do see some consolidation here. One thing that we see from down here, right? You can see we had a higher high, but we had a lower high on the MACD histogram, and that caused us to push down. We're taking a look at the RSI. We didn't really see a whole lot here, and again, I'm just looking at an hourly time frame. I do want to zoom out to like a 4-hour time frame here in a moment. But we saw it again here. We saw a higher high, and we actually did see support of some bearish divergence on an hourly. We did have a little bit of a sell-off, but we're just talking about an hourly time frame, so likely that divergence has already played out. So now, a lot of people get really focused on hourly time frames. I'm going to go out to a daily. I want to take a look at the daily and see what we've got going on here, because the daily is where we see, a significant uptrend, right? So from right here, this is a really good example, and I'm going to hide all of my indicators that I've got on here, at least my drawings, right? So you can see from down here. Let's just take a look at the histogram. From right here, we had a little bit of a lower low, but we had a higher low on our MACD histogram. But from right here, right, we could say this was the last point of support before we moved up higher. And then we pulled back, and take a look at this histogram. Much, much lower on the histogram right here. And arguably the same thing on the RSI. And we're looking at a daily. We're looking at a daily. So we have this point right here. We have a lower low on the RSI where we had a higher low on the price. That's hidden bullish divergence. Textbook hidden bullish divergence. So we pushed up, we pulled back, and we had a much, much lower low on the histogram on the MACD. We had a lower low on the RSI, and then we've moved up since then. We are starting to see signs, excuse me, of some bearish divergence. So it's still very, very strong. This uptrend is very, very strong. As you can see, the RSI has been hovering above 70 really ever since we broke out back on October 20th. So back here, we broke out, and we've been hovering above 70 the entire time. When was the last time we had that many days? Like, look at how many days we have been consolidating above 70. So we've got currently about 24 days, almost an entire month, we've been hovering above 70 on the RSI. When's the last time that happened, you guys? I mean, right here, how many days was this? That was, what, 9 days? That was hardly anything. We've been hovering up here for so long, and the last time we have been hovering up above that time frame for that amount of time, let's just take a look here. Right there, 24 days. The last time we've been hovering this high is when we were at all-time high. That was the last time that we were hovering that high. And I would argue that we have been up there for what, longer, 25 days, and it doesn't look like we're done yet. It doesn't look like we're done yet. But the real interesting thing about this all is the fact that we have been hovering up there for that amount of time, and we don't have a whole lot of history that tells us the last time we were up there that long. We have been up and overbought longer than almost, I mean, I'm not going to go back super long. I guess maybe this would be the last time right here. This looks like a decent amount of time. Let's just go ahead and measure it out. 26 days, 25 days, about the same amount of time as we are right now. This looks very similar to what the price action looks like right now. But we had taken out the prior all-time high at the time, which is almost $500. So again, I'm not going to try and say that, that this move is done. Here. Actually, this goes all the way back to 2013. Take a look at this. This definitely, yeah, look at that, 85 days. So history has shown us that there is potential for us to have significant moves to the upside, right? Significant moves to the upside. Let me just pull this back out so we can see this. We can't see our histogram here, but just take a look at this. We were up here in overbought conditions for so long. I mean, but this is a linear move up, right? This is not, this is not a parabolic move. This is just moving straight up. we're not seeing that right now, but yet we are continuing to be. I mean, I guess if you compare the charts, it does look very similar. Um, this looks like it wants to keep going. That's, I guess it's what I'm getting to. It looks like it wants to keep going. Let's take a look at Chainlink real quick. I want to take a look at Chainlink, and let me just remove this. So we were talking about, a potential move lower. This is an older chart here. We bounced out of this green zone. That had already happened. We were talking about a trade at about, what was it, $12.30. This is a daily chart. We were taking a look at a 5-minute chart here, again, a few days ago. But Chainlink is moving down in USD value while Bitcoin is moving up in USD value. So we talk about this. We see a little bit of bearish divergence here on the daily. But we talk about dominance, right? And when we were taking a look at dominance, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance here. When we take a look at this, this looks like it wants to continue to move up. Looks pretty strong. Again, we were bouncing here, calling this a wave 4, okay? And let me just go ahead and zoom out a little bit more so you can see where I'm pulling this from. All right, so if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, A, B, C into the 4, right at the 382, our upside target is going to continue to remain 84, which means, is alt season done? It's very possible, because from down here, and actually let me go ahead and just change this degree, because I'm going to put a count on this. All right, we're going to put that right there. And from here, I can see that there's a 1, 2, 3, working on the 4, and then we go up for the 5. Okay, that's going to be on a lower degree. And actually, I'm going to put that on the lowest degree. Because from here, right, once that does happen, we've got our 1 mini alt season, and then this is where things are going to go haywire. We've got the 3, 4, 5 to finish that move. Okay, let's just change the color on that guy, and let's change the color on this guy as well, because that's our lowest level, and change the subdivision, the degree on that, because I still expect this is going to happen, and this means that Bitcoin has much more upside potential, and also means that alts are likely going to suffer. They've been on a decent run, right? So if you take a look at Tezos, this guy went on a pretty crazy run, right? We're sitting up above $2, right? Our downside target was about $1.96 here, and that had already been realized. Okay, so that's already been realized. We came down here to the 618, but look at the move that we had, this crazy upside move. We created a higher high. What did our divergence say? Well, on the daily, it's hard to tell, but let's go to a weekly on Tezos here. We didn't, it's not really a blip on the radar, but potentially there is some bullish divergence. Actually, some from here, yeah, there's not enough history here on Tezos. I wonder if there is longer history on a different exchange. Let's take a look at KuCoin. From here, there. Yeah, potentially there is some hidden bullish divergence here. There's just not a whole lot of history on this guy. If I take a look at the daily, we do see signs of some bullish divergence, which means that we could still have a little bit of a mini alt season. But, at this point, I'm questioning whether or not Tezos is going to get back above $3, at least for the short term. When Bitcoin finally does make its way up to wherever it's going to stabilize for a while, so let's go ahead and go back here and take a look at Bitcoin on Bitstamp. Let's just kind of hide our drawings here for a moment, because it does look like it wants to push up and through 16,000, right? It looks like it wants to push up through there. And actually, let's take a look at this on Coinbase here for a moment. I know I've got some drawings on here, but that's okay. Because this is, potentially getting close to the end of the road. So we've got, a good clear, if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So we could have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, which would support higher prices. But the fact that this still looks like we're putting in that last move. It still looks parabolic. I mean, we've seen this type of a formation on Bitcoin before. This still looks parabolic with this move up here, right? You can see this. As long as we continue to stay inside of this parabola, I think that the prices could still see, still see higher targets. Do we make our way up to 20,000? I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I'm still keeping one bearish indicator, in mind, and that is basically the fact that we have the potential for an A, a B up here, and then we go down for the C. I'm still watching that scenario. Is that probable? I mean, there is a certain degree of probability that we could see ourselves down here. Right now, the uptrend is there, and so I'm still cautioning any kind of short positions, even though I'm heavily tempted to short Bitcoin, up here in this range. Keeping an eye, again, this is the daily. We're making higher highs locally, and we're starting to see signs of there being some bearish divergence. But what I can't shake is the fact that we've been held in this bull zone for almost longer than we have in all of Bitcoin's history. That is very interesting, and that's a powerful statement, even for me to make. So, do we hit that 17,000 target? Yeah, it looks like we're going to be heading up there quicker than I expected. I was expecting a push up and then a pullback and then another push up. I was expecting a couple 30% moves. It doesn't look like that's what's going to happen. It looks like we're just going to keep on moving up. Again, keeping an eye on that parabola, and I removed it, so let me just kind of put it back here for a moment. Keeping an eye on this guy, because he is going to be what we need to keep an eye on. So this supports the fact that we could consolidate up here above 15,000 a little bit longer, but making our way up to that 17,000 target seems likely. Seems like it's going to happen. We see a lot of little waves here. So I see here we've got a little 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, 4, 1, 2, and there's probably 3, 4, 5 to complete that 3. Finish the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like we're about ready to finish a move, and it looks like it's going to happen quickly. So just be careful, be cautious. I'm not looking to short right now, but once we get up here to the 17,000 range, that's where I'm going to be looking to get out. Just putting a little trend-based fib analysis really quickly. We went up above where wave 3 would normally take us. So that 3618 is sitting there right at 17,000. So very, very likely that guy goes up to 17,000. That's where it looks like it's going to head. I may hedge myself up there at 17K because that is, at least right now, the highest probability target for a clear rejection. And when we get a rejection, it's going to happen very quickly. You're not going to have a lot of time to react. And, it's really the resting orders that will get filled, and you're going to find yourself chasing a big, nasty red candle when we finally do get there. It'll happen. We are going to get a significant pullback. It doesn't look like it's going to happen right now. We're still, kind of flirting with 16,000, and I think once we push through 16, again, probably are going to find some more stops and find ourselves fueled up to about 17K. Would I go long here? No. I would just stay in spot, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Okay, that's what I've got for right now. We talked about the S&P 500, we talked about NASDAQ, we talked about Bitcoin, we looked at Chainlink, we looked at Tezos, we looked at Bitcoin dominance. Again, just a real quick summary, Bitcoin dominance looks like Bitcoin wants to push higher. Our upside target for dominance is about 85%. And if Bitcoin gets rejected at 17K, that means that there is some really pretty sad news for alts. So be careful. Be careful trading alts. There's only a couple out there that look really good right now. And the ones that that I have the most interest in watching is Monero, maybe some DLT or NAS. Those are the only ones that I'm really interested in at the moment. All the others, I'm just not interested in them right now. So this is what I've got for you today. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening. If you need access to Discord, just throw a comment in the YouTube chat. I'll get an invite code out to you.